You know, we all have limits. This battery has a limit to how long it's going to run before it's going to need a recharge. And fatigue in our lives emphasizes and makes those limitations all that much more visible to us. In fact, when we're really fatigued, it's amazing how even small things can seem so monumental. I was just reading a couple days ago the story of Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19. And there's a piece in the story where, after Elijah had all the prophets of Baal killed, Jezebel vows to kill Elijah, and he takes off fleeing for his life and gets into the wilderness, and he lays down underneath a broom bush tree, and he says, Lord, I've had enough. Take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors. And then he laid down and fell asleep under the bush, totally exhausted. Of course, it continues where an angel woke him twice, gave him food and water, and got him to a point where he was restored health-wise for the next thing that God had intended for him. And I just thought in my own life, how important it is for me to take time to rest. My problem is I usually equate recreation with rest, which is not a bad thing, but I like to be a busy person, and I find a lot of times that my recreation can actually become so intense that I'm not even resting. I'm actually getting more exhausted sometimes after a day or two off. And to actually, they're two different things for me. There's times recreation is part of my rest, but I am finding that I just need time to rest sometimes and physically recharge, spend time with the Lord in quiet, and that is where that restoration is. And Elijah needed that. He needed a full recharge in a full section of rest. And the interesting thing is too, when you look at Elijah's life, he didn't use that rest as a full disconnect to where I'm through, God, I'm done. Once he was recharged, he re-engaged with what the Lord had for him. And that's an important piece as well too, is that we don't indulge just selfishly and use our fatigue and exhaustion as an excuse to disconnect from what God is calling us to do in our ministry and to be involved. So that's the important piece of that in our lives. And that I also too in ministry have to make sure I'm staying recharged, but to continue on. The work isn't done yet. What God has in store for me isn't done, and I need to continue to press on. So that's just my encouragement today. What are you doing to try and find rest? And for some of us, depending where in life, it can be so hard to get rest sometimes. I really think, especially of you single parents as well, and with kids, depending what phase you're at with your children, that is a challenge. It's a huge challenge for you to wiggle out of time just to have moments of rest and downtime, because it just never stops, the busyness. But we have to try, and even all of us can get so busy, but we have to try to find the rest that we need. So that's my challenge for today, and encouragement. I hope you're finding time just to rest, physically, to recharge, to let God get you to a place where he can use you and restore you, and you can hear from him like Elijah needed to. So take care. Love you guys. Got some piggies here we're raising. They're enjoying the sun back there right now, but see you guys next week.